All right, welcome everyone. I see that I did not record the lesson, so this is a rerun, try number two. Um, so I will be doing this lesson again so you can run through the recording. Okay, so welcome. This is our first Python programming class. Today will be very short. We will just be setting up where you will be programming and running your first program. How to run your first program and starting your first program. Right, so first a bit about this project. What is it? So we at the Computer Science Department of the university, Mr. Daniel Vium and me, Robbie Boltman, we want to help high school or primary school learners. We want to help students be programmers, think in a programming way, for fun, but also to prepare you for your job one day, maybe, if you would like to go into programming. We're also doing this to prepare you for the Programming Olympiad. This will be the focus of our course, but it is not compulsory for you to do the Olympiad. So we will be doing this class every Friday from 2:30 until about 4. Sometimes the lessons can be shorter depending on the content. And then every Wednesday we will have a question and answer session held by Mr. Vium. So we will be doing that from 2:30 on Wednesdays, and then you can take your homework there, your programming homework. If you struggle with something, then you can ask Mr. Vium to help you with the work you don't understand or to ask questions. You're also welcome to go ahead and do extra other programming work. In fact, I actually recommend you do. And if you do struggle with that, please feel free to bring your questions on Wednesdays. So if you want to do the Olympiad, what do you need? You need to work hard. Do extra assignments, work out extra problems. You'll see there are 2 websites that can help you. So the Olympiad website is where they will be, they have some, let me quickly show you the Olympiad website. They have a link to doing extra programming problems. So you'll see under past papers, school rounds. Then you can choose any of these rounds. So let's look at the 2020 school round number 1, for example. If I open this one, this is the Olympiad programming paper they did 2020. All right, so then you can look at the questions and then you can do them on your own. You can try and figure them out. Don't worry if you struggle. Some of these questions do get very difficult. Just try them. See if you can at least do half of the question or start with it. The more you practice, the better you will get. Programming is practice. All right. You can also then upload your solutions to the evaluator. So the second link, this evaluator marks your solutions automatically. It is a computer program marking, so you don't have to be shy if you feel that you didn't do well. This will just tell you if your program gives the right result. All right. So what do we need to start programming in Python? We will be using Python 3, not Python 2. You have to make sure it is not Python 2. I will show you how. So what is Python? So Python is a programming language. Python 3 only means it's the latest version. Python 2 is an older version of the Python programming language. So if you do use Python 2, you might, for example, type a command and then it won't work because maybe it was only implemented in Python 3. So it is best to use the latest version. Okay, and then PyCharm we will also be using. PyCharm is just an editor wherein you write your programming code. Advanced learners, you can use any editor. We will be focusing on PyCharm, but it doesn't matter. If you're more comfortable with something else that you've been using, then please do feel free to use that. then you shouldn't worry about PyCharm. We will be explaining how to set up PyCharm though, and me and Mr. Vium understands how to use it, so technical assistance will be easier if you do use PyCharm. We also have a technical assistance voice channel to help you if you have any problems after the class or during the class sometimes, where you can ask your questions if, for example, your PyCharm doesn't work. Okay, so how to set up your PyCharm. You can go to the PyCharm website. Very easy to follow along. You will just download the community version. The professional version is a version that you have to pay for. That is not necessary. You can look at the community one. It is free and open source. Open source means the code is available to everyone on the internet for free. Then you can follow the installation instructions. To install Anaconda will be required after you set up your PyCharm. So Anaconda is also, Anaconda contains the interpreter. So what is an interpreter? I'll explain that in a bit. Do not stress if you're not with me. Okay, so follow the instructions to install Anaconda. Make sure you do not tick this box. It is recommended to leave that box there empty during the installation. Right, PyCharm and Python. So what is this? So PyCharm, what we're using, this is PyCharm, so let me close my... So PyCharm is just a little program wherein you can write your programming code. It makes your life a lot easier. PyCharm will tell you if you made a mistake, if your program doesn't want to work. PyCharm explains to you what is wrong, and it tells you what you can look at to fix it. So that is what makes an editor like PyCharm amazing. It makes your life as a programmer a lot easier. There's a lot of buttons and features and functions to make programming easier. Right, so it is a program to create programs. And Python itself, what is Python? So Python is a programming language. A computer doesn't understand English. We have to tell the computer in its own language what to do. If I want to, for example, write 2 plus 2 to the screen and make the computer figure out what is 2 plus 2, I have to tell it in a programming language. So Python is a fairly new programming language, and it is very popular nowadays because it's a very easy to understand programming language. It looks almost like English. You can learn to write and read it very quickly compared to other programming languages. And then an interpreter, what I spoke about in this Anaconda. So what is an interpreter? An interpreter takes your Python programming language and it turns that code you wrote into instructions the computer can understand. And then the computer will do those instructions. So Anaconda contains Python 3.7. Okay, so Python 3.7, it's just the version. They update the programming language every few months or years to make it better, to give it more commands so it can do even more things more easy. Okay, so how to create your first project. So we're going to start, Okay, so when you see this screen, once you open PyCharm, then you're going to create a new project. Now you can name your project anything. So let us name this our first project. Okay, you will be using the Conda environment, Python version. You can use any Python version 3 something, 3.8, 3.7 or 3.6. It is fine, it doesn't matter. It is better to use the latest version, but please just ensure you do not use Python version 2.7. Okay, and then make sure this box is not clicked. The create a main.py welcome script. Uncheck this box. We will be creating our own files. Okay, so once we're done, you just click create. So now PyCharm goes ahead and sets up your environment for you. Right, so while that is setting up, this is what I explained. Select Conda environment, Python 3, uncheck the main.py welcome script. Okay, so once that is finished, there we go. Okay, so now we have a folder. So a project is basically just a folder. So now we can add all sorts of Python files. So let us make our first Python program. So you'll be going to, you'll right click on our first project, new, and then Python file. Now you can name this file anything. So we will be naming this file hello world. Alright, well, there we have our first Python programming file. So you'll see there at the top it says hello world.py. Py means that this is a Python file. So the computer will read this as Python. So now you can go ahead and add more files in your project and they will all be held together in the same folder. Okay, so one last little technical issue. Sometimes it happens that you don't have an interpreter connected. The interpreter doesn't connect automatically sometimes. So what you do then, PyCharm will tell you that there's no interpreter. You'll see it, it'll show it here at the top somewhere. There it'll say there's no interpreter. So what you do then is you go to File, Settings, you click on your project name, and you click on Python interpreter, and then select a Python 3 something interpreter. So for us, we'll be using 3.8. So it will look like this. You'll go to File, Settings, your project, and Python interpreter. And then here, you can choose your Python 3.8. And just click OK. Right. So now we can finally start programming. We can make our first Python program. So you're going to start by adding this little line of code. So let me do it with you. So we will say print hello world. Right. So what this command does is if we run this, the program, the computer will print everything in between the brackets and the quotation marks to the screen on the bottom. So this command just tells the computer to type whatever is in here on the screen. So let me start. You right click anywhere. You can right click anywhere in this box. Let's right click there. Then you go down to this, run hello world. So it'll say run and then your program. Let's click that. Okay, so what happened now? This line here, the first line, is just telling me where the computer is running this little script from. So you can ignore this, don't worry about that. We'll be looking at what's in the middle. So here you can see the computer ran hello world. So it took my command. So I told the computer print. Then I told him print everything in between the quotation marks and the brackets. So hello world. So I can do anything. So I can say here hello Robbie. If I run this, hello Robbie. So I can do any print thing here. So you can try your own things. You can type. Let's go. And we can type anything. If we run this, so you right click, you go down to run hello world. We can type anything. There you see the computer just print that for us on the screen. So here I explain, right click anywhere, run. And then here at the bottom, so this, with where the red line is, this tells us this is the output of our program. So at the bottom, the process finished. This just means the program has finished running. So this is the result, and then this line just tells us that the program has done everything it was supposed to do. So then it exits. Okay. Next, why can't you just type hello world or anything directly into PyCharm? What if I do this? Hello world. What happens now? Why can't I do that? You see this little red line here. This is basically telling me that the computer doesn't understand what I want it to do. It doesn't know I want to print this. It doesn't know what to expect. It doesn't know what I expect of it. So if I right click and I run hello world now, then I'm getting an error. It's telling me invalid syntax. So it's telling me that this doesn't mean anything to the computer. So that is why I get an error. But if I go and I put that, if I say print, and I put the brackets around, and then I also need the quotation marks, there, the red squiggly line disappeared. If I say run hello world, there I get it. Run hello world. No problems there. Right. You have to use Python in a .py file. As you can see there, the .py, so you have to use the Python programming language and syntax. So, but that is what we will be teaching you in this little course. So do not worry about that too much. Just understand that the computer will not understand any other programming language in PyCharm, in this .py file. All right, so next, let's look at a comment. So what is a comment? So I can't type anything. You see now I'm getting an error, as I just explained. But now if I use the hashtag symbol there in the beginning, now you see it has turned to gray. So this means that the interpreter now skips this line. So now I can type anything. So the interpreter now skips this line, so it doesn't care about what you can say anything here. So it doesn't care. It only looks for the code. So if I run, I get no errors. But if I take away this symbol, there you can see the red squiggly line again. So what happens when I run now? I get an error. It doesn't understand what I want it to do. So why would you use a comment? Comments are very nice it's a very nice little feature for reminding you or telling you why you did something in code. So let's say you and a friend, you're working on a Python program together, and you have this cool little formula that you figured out, but it's a bit difficult to understand exactly how it works. So then you can write a comment explaining to him what this next thing does. So here I can say, this line will print the words hello world. So this is just to tell other programmers or even yourself, if you program, let's say you start a new project on Monday, you work a little bit on it on Tuesday, and then you get busy for like a week or 2 weeks, and then one Saturday afternoon you're like, okay, I want to finish this program. Then you open it up, and then you don't remember, what did I do? What did I want this thing here to make? I don't understand what I was busy writing. So then you can use comments while you're writing the program to help you remember later what you tried to do there. So it's just something extra. You won't be using it in the Olympiad. It is just for yourself. All right. So next up, we'll be looking at a new line. How do you make a new line? So if I want to, let's say I want to output this, line 1 and then line 2. How do I make a space? Because if I just type line 1, and then line 2, and I run this, it's on the same line. So there are two ways of doing this. Let me take out the comment. So 2 ways of doing that. So we will be making a new print function. So that is our first way of making a new line. So there you can see. There are many ways to do it, but we'll be looking at 2 ways now. So I can make a new print function and I can say line 2. If I run this, line 1, line 2. I can now even go ahead and make a new print function, but I leave it empty. So what happens now is the computer will print whatever's in the quotation marks, and then it ends the line. When it gets there, it ends the line. So then it starts again. It prints a new thing. But this is empty, so it just makes a new line. And this prints again, and then it makes a new line. So let's see what happens. There you see, I have line 1, then I have a space, and then line 2. So that is one way of doing it. It is a bit of a long way to do it, so let me show you a quicker way. Let's delete that. So let's start again, print, let's say line 1. Then we do a \n. This basically tells, you can even see it change color. This tells the computer we want to make a new line. So the computer won't print this, but it reads it as a command. So then we do line 2. So if I print this now, there I get 2 separate lines. I can even add one more / with an n. There's a space. Let's add another one, and another one, and another one. Let's run this. There I get that big gap there, because every \n the computer reads as a new line. So that is very easy. Alright, so now for the homework. I want you, we will not be checking it, but I will give you the answers next week, but please try and do your homework, as it will help you to understand the programming better. Only doing programming once a week will not be enough to really become a good programmer. You would have to do work on your own. Right, so I want you to write a little program to print this to the screen using the print function we just discussed. The second one, also the same, but it will be a bit more difficult. You use the / character, as I just explained here. So this / character doesn't print, as you can see. So to make a / character print, you have to type 2 of them. So then it will only print the one. Play around with it a bit. If you do struggle, you can ask me or Mr. Vium. You can ask us on Discord, and we will help you with the programming. And then number 3 looks a lot easier than it is. I'm excited to see next week if you did manage to figure out how to make this one work. You can use the internet. Please do not be shy. Use Google. I use Google a lot every day for my programming. There are just so much to learn that you won't know everything by heart. So use Google, don't be scared. All right. And then for bonus points, I want you to explain to me next week, why do you have to type 2 / characters? What is this /? And what is the name of this character? Right. Use the internet, don't be afraid. And for programming, practice makes perfect. So you have to do programming to get better. You won't get better at it by just going to classes and reading and looking at how other people program. You have to do it yourself. Okay, so that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something. If you do have any issues setting up PyCharm, don't be afraid to ask me. You can save your files. Last thing, you can click there at the top, File, and then you can say Save As. I did save. Or you can also say Save All. Then it saves everything in your project. Right. So that is it from me, and I hope you learned something.